write down the last 2 industries you worked in. Now, it might be teaching and the retail job at Coles that you had when you were in high school, but just write down the last 2 industries you worked in. Then underneath that, write down the top 3 skills that you gained from each of those industries. Then have a look at that list. You'll have 6 skills and look at how they can be used in an interior design studio. Once you've done that, find a way to weave that information into your website, your Instagram bio, your brand story, and even when you are talking to clients next. So if this is your 2nd or 3rd or 4th career, take heart. You are not behind. You are not late. You're running at your time. You're building your studio on a foundation of rich experience. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Thursday episode of the Design Dialogues podcast. And this week I wanted to talk about why, if this is your 2nd or 3rd or 4th career, why your past experience is your secret weapon. If that sounds like you, I do wonder if sometimes you might feel like you're a little behind, like you're playing catch up compared to designers who studied interiors straight out of school. Maybe you're thinking a waste of time in another industry, or I don't have the same foundations as others. But here is the truth, and I believe this to be true so much because I've seen it over and over and over again. Your past career is not wasted. It's actually one of your biggest strengths. And today I want to show you why. So a bit of my story. I'll be honest, when I started in interiors, I thought, well, I'm starting from scratch here. I'd been to uni. I had done a completely different degree. I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I then had a complete 180 and I was a florist for 9 years. And I owned my own small business. So when I decided to study interior design, I already was old, in inverted brackets. But what I soon realized is when I got into the workforce for interior design, my previous skills that I had learnt, the fact that I was a bit more mature than some of the other people coming out of design school, it put me in such a good spot. These skills were truly invaluable. And I've seen it time and time and again with other designers. Those who've come from teaching are amazing at guiding clients step by step. Those from finance, they're really brilliant at project budgeting and cost tracking. The designers that have marketing backgrounds, I sometimes think they've won the jackpot. Their branding and client communications truly shine through. You might not think like those skills matter in design, but they truly do. Let's break down some of the transferable skills that often fly under the radar. Communication and people skills. If you've worked in sales, customer service, or teaching, you're already an expert at explaining complex things simply. That equals design presentation gold. Project management. Anyone who runs teams, manages deadlines, or organize logistics, guess what? That is exactly what we do in interiors. Finance and business savvy. If you've worked with numbers, budgets, or contracts, you're already ahead when it comes to running a profitable studio. If you've been creative but in a different way, maybe you've worked in fashion, events, or photography, those worlds will fuel your eye for detail, color, and storytelling. Problem solving and resilience. If you've navigated corporate structures, office politics, difficult clients, or tough industries, you're better equipped to stay calm in the chaos of renovations and installs. The truth is, interior design isn't just about having a good eye. It's about managing people, money, and projects while delivering creativity. And your past career probably trained you in at least one of those, if not all of them. Let's reframe a little bit about the starting late. Here's a mind shift I want you to take away. Instead of thinking I started late, think I started with a head start. Because unlike a 21-year-old fresh out of design school, you bring maturity, perspective, and real-world know-how. Clients can pick up on that. They trust you because you've seen more, done more, and can relate to their lives and challenges. Often, second or third career design builders build stronger client relationships faster because they're not just talking about finishes and fabrics, they're talking from lived experience. So how to use this in your business right now? The first thing, tell the story in your branding. If you come from corporate, share that. If you worked in retail, let people know you understand both design and customer experience. What are those parts of your previous work experience? And, we talked about this a couple of episodes ago about your brand story and how you stand out from the other designers that are in your area. This experience that you have is one of those things that sets you apart. So tell that in your brand. Highlight relevant skills to clients. If you are in finance, say, I know how to manage budgets and keep projects on track. Clients will breathe so much easier knowing that they have someone with a finance background on their team. If you used to work in law or education, you already have a network that trusts you. Tap into it. Those previous work networks can be absolute client gold, especially if you're in those early days of starting up your business. And really think about it this way. Stop dismissing your past. Instead of thinking that was wasted time, start saying that's where I learned how to, and insert that skill. So here's an action step for this week. I want you to do a little exercise, especially if you feel like you've got this block around I started late, or I'm not as far ahead as I should be, or I wish my business was more set up and more successful and more secure than it is. Write down the last 2 industries you worked in. Now, it might be teaching and the retail job at Coles that you had when you were in high school. But just write down the last 2 industries you worked in. Then underneath that, write down the top 3 skills that you gained from each of those industries. Then have a look at that list. You'll have 6 skills, and look at how they can be used in an interior design studio. Once you've done that, find a way to weave that information into your website, your Instagram bio, your brand story, and even when you are talking to clients next. So if this is your second or third or fourth career, take heart. You are not behind. You are not late. You're running at your time. You're building your studio on a foundation of rich experience. And that's something no textbook or degree can teach. Clients don't just hire you for your eye, they hire you for your whole story. And that story is what makes you different. Okay, that's it for today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I would love to hear from you about what are those skills that you learned in your previous career that are really helping you now. See you next week. That's it for today's episode. I hope this gave you some fresh ideas and motivation to refine how you run your studio. But here's the thing, having the right strategies is one thing, actually implementing them is another. And if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or just unsure where to start, that's exactly what my Systems and Processes Health Check is for. It's a one-on-one deep dive into how your studio runs, pinpointing where things are working, where they're not, and giving you a clear roadmap to streamline your processes. And the thing is, my health check is different from other mentoring out there. We don't just talk, we put together clear, actionable items that I hold you accountable for, because I want to make sure that at the end of the health check, you see a real difference in your business. Imagine having a studio that runs smoothly, where you're in control, and where you can finally focus on the design work that you love. If that sounds like exactly what you need, head to the website to book in your health check today. Thanks for tuning in, and if you found this episode helpful, share it with a fellow designer who could use these insights too. See you for our next Design Dialogue.